So hello friends, welcome back to our channel Adami Education. Today's live session is going to be a little different. We are not going to learn any topic or any chapter. Rather today we are going to solve the 2020 ICSE mathematics paper. It will not just boost your confidence for your exams which are already knocking at your door, but it will also help you to clear the doubts if you have in any of the chapters or topics. So I would request you all, or I will actually urge you all to do the questions along with me, and if you face any sort of difficulty in understanding the questions, please feel free to comment in the live chat. So let's begin with the questions. And one more thing, since the maths exam duration is of 2.5 hours, we are not going to conduct the entire live session for 2.5 hours. We are not going to finish all the questions at once. Today I have brought for you the questions from section A, the compulsory section, out of which there are a few questions which are not there in the syllabus. Otherwise we will complete all the questions. So today we are going to do section A, and in the next live session we are going to do parts of section B2. So let's begin. So our first question is from the chapter quadratic equations. We have to solve the quadratic equation x square minus 7x plus 3 is equal to 0, and we also have been asked to give the answer correct to 2 decimal places. That means after the decimal we need to keep 2 numbers. So let's begin. It is quite clear that we have to use the formula. We cannot do it by middle term factorization. So let us just write the formula first. We know x is equal to minus b plus minus root over b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So in this case our a is 1, b is minus 7 and c is 3. You can skip this step, but for the students who find it a little difficult to understand what is a, what is b and what is c, you can use this step. So now x will be equal to minus of minus 7 plus minus root over b square, that means minus 7 square minus 4 into 1 into 3 divided by 2a, that means 2 into 1, or you can directly write 2. So let's solve it further. 7 plus minus root over 49 minus 12, 4 3s are 12 divided by 2. So if you solve it, you will get 7 plus minus root over 37 divided by 2. So now we have to find the square root of 37. I guess you know how to find out the square root of 37. If not, please write down in the comment section in the live chat. I will definitely try to bring a video on how to find the square root of numbers. So the square root will be 6.08. So we have two answers. One is 7 plus 6.08 by 2, and the other answer is 7 minus 6.08 by 2. So if you solve it further, your final answer comes up to 6.54 and 0.46. So since they have said that correct to 2 decimal places, that's why after the decimal I have kept 2 numbers. So I hope this question is clear. This was a very simple and easy question. So I guess you have understood it. Let's move on to the next question now. It is from the chapter matrices. So we have a matrix A given to us as x3, y3. If a square is equal to 3i, where I is the identity matrix of order 2, we have to find the values of x and y. So let's do it. First of all, let's write what has been given to us. A is x3, y3. And since I is an identity matrix of order 2, we can write it like this: 1, 0, 0, 1. Now we have been said that a square is equal to 3i. So let me form the equation a square. That means we have to multiply this matrix with itself. x3, y3 is equal to 3i. That means 3 into 1, 0, 0, 1. Alright. Let's solve it. We will get x square plus 3y 3x plus 9. Out here we will get xy plus 3y, and the final element will be 3y plus 9. This is equal to, now if we multiply 3 with the identity matrix, we will have 3, 0, 0, 3. Now we know that whenever two matrices are equal, their corresponding elements will also be equal. So we can use these two elements, isn't it? Because it just has x and y in it, and we can compare it with 0 and 3, the corresponding elements of the right hand side. So therefore, we will have 3x plus 9 is equal to 0, which will give us 3x is equal to minus 9 and x will be equal to minus 3. Similarly, if we compare 3y plus 9 is equal to 3, we will have 3y is equal to minus 6. So y will be equal to minus 2. So the value of x is minus 3 and the value of y is minus 2. So I hope this question is clear to you. It was also a very simple question. Alright. So there was another question from question number 1, question C, which was a construction question. So it is not possible for me to show you a construction on the screen. For that reason, I am going to very recently uh, upload a video for construction where you will have all the constructions related to your syllabus. So you can check it out in our channel itself. It will be uploaded very soon. Next is our question number 2, where we have to factorize this particular polynomial. It is from the chapter Remainder and Factor Theorem. Alright. Use the factor theorem to factorize 6x cubed plus 17x squared plus 4x minus 12 completely. So we don't have anything given to us. That means we have to use the hit and trial method. We have to check the values of x as 1, minus 1, 2 and minus 2. We will always begin with the larger one, negative signed larger number. So we will begin with minus 2 and then we will eventually move to 1 and we will check which value of x will satisfy this equation. So let's begin. So let us take x is equal to minus 2. So my fx is given as 6x cube plus 17x square plus 4x minus 12. So for x equals to minus 2, that means f of minus 2, we will have 6 into minus 2 whole cube plus 17 into minus 2 whole square plus 4 into minus 2 minus 12. So f of minus 2 means in place of x we are going to put the value as minus 2, and we will check that if f of minus 2 is 0, that means x is equal to minus 2 can be considered for factorizing it completely. So 6 into minus 2 whole cube will give you minus 48. Then you will have 17 into minus 2 whole square, that means 17 into 4, which will give you plus 68. Then 4 into minus 2 is minus 8 and minus 12. So we will have minus 68 plus 68, which is equal to 2. Sorry, which is equal to 0. That means x is equal to minus 2 is considerable for our question. That means our factor will be x plus 2 is our factor. So we can write it. We take x plus 2 as our factor. So this is one of the factor of this polynomial which we have found out by the hit and trial method. Now we are going to find out the other factors. For that we have to simply divide this polynomial with x plus 2 and then we can get the other factors. So let me just rub it. I would tell you to write down the processes which we have done right now, and then I'll erase it and I will do the division part. So I hope it's done. Let me erase it off. So now we are going to divide this polynomial with x plus 2 because x plus 2 was a factor. So 17x square plus 4x minus 12 x plus 2. So x plus 2, we have to bring the first term, that is 6x cube. How do we do it? I guess you all know how to do division for algebraic expressions, but for students who find it a little difficult, you can just check it out. So we have to bring 6x cube, so we can multiply with 3x square. That means if we multiply x plus 2 with 3x square, we will get 6x cube. So what do we get? I'm sorry, we have to multiply it with 6x square. So 6x cube plus 6x square into 2, that means 12x square. We are getting this. So our first term of the quotient is 6x square. I'm writing with green color. I'm writing the quotient with a different color so that you can understand it well. So now, what did we get? We got 6x cube plus 12x square. So it will yield us, this is getting cancelled out, we are getting 5x square, and this plus 4x is coming down. We are going to do the same procedure once again. So we have to bring 5x square. So we have to multiply x plus 2 with such an expression such that we get 5x square. So we can multiply it with 5x. So we are getting 5x square plus 10x. So our next term in the quotient will be 5x plus 5x. So we are getting 5x square plus 10x. So if you subtract it, this is getting cancelled out. You are left with minus 6x. And then we have a minus 12. Again, we are going to do the same. So you have to multiply x plus 2 with such a number such that you get minus 6 in the beginning. You can multiply it with minus 6. So you are getting minus 6x minus 12. So our third part of the quotient is minus 6. So minus 6x minus 12. Now if you subtract it off, it is getting cancelled out. So your quotient is 6x square plus 5x minus 6. This is your quotient. Now if you factorize this quotient, you are going to get two more factors which will be the answer. Alright. So first of all, copy it down. Then we will move on to factorizing this part. So this question came for 3 marks. So that's why you have to do all these procedures. So I hope it is completed. Now let's move on to factorizing this part. Okay, so our value was 6x square plus 5x minus 6. So we can do it by middle term factorization. 6 into 6 will give you 36. Yes, Gurleen, you can do it directly also. Like it will take a little less time if I would be doing it myself. But since I'm explaining it to you guys, that's why it is taking a little time. So please bear with me. Or if you have completed, you can do other questions too till I start with a new one. So now we are going to factorize it. Welcome, my dear, welcome. It was just because of you that I decided to do this thing. So I'm going to bring test series not just for maths but for other subjects too. I hope you will get benefited from this. So we have prime factorized this 36. Now we can do middle term factorization. I have to bring 5. So yeah, I can see it directly. 4 and 9. So 9 minus 4. Alright. So we are getting 6x square plus 9x minus 4x minus 6. So if we take 3x as common, you are left with 2x plus 3. Similarly, 2x plus 3 will be the common one out here too. You are getting minus 2. Yeah. So your factors are 2x plus 3 and 3x minus 2. So your final answer for the factorization of this polynomial will be, first we got x plus 2 and these are the two more factors. So 2x plus 3 and 3x minus 2. So these are the factors. So I hope the question is clear. The question was not tough, it was a little lengthy, but it was a very, very easy question. So these are the factors. I hope it is clear to you. Now let's move on to the next question. Solve the following inequation and represent the solution set on the number line. A very interesting question. I had always loved these type of questions when I was in class 10. So I hope you guys will also enjoy doing this question with me. So we have three equations. We are going to take the first two equations or the expression. It would be better to tell it as an expression. So we are going to take the first two expressions first, and then we are going to take the last two expressions. So let's do it. 3x by 5 plus 2 less than x plus 4. So we are going to solve it out. So we have 3x by 5 minus x less than 4 minus 2. So 5 is the LCM. Please put implies that sign on this side. It's difficult to write, that's why I'm not putting it, but please don't forget to put it because it can make you lose marks. So 3x minus 5x less than 2. So you have minus 2x divided by 5 less than 2. So you have 2x greater than minus 10. Since you are taking minus to the other side, the sign is changing from less than to greater than. I hope this is clear. So we have 2x is greater than minus 10. So x will be greater than minus 5. This is the answer of the first two expressions. X is greater than minus 5. I think this is clear. Now we are going to do the last two expressions. Let me rub it out. Okay, now we have x plus 4 less than or equal to x by 2 plus 5. Again, we are going to take all the x to one side and we are going to keep the numbers on the other side. So we have 2x minus x by 2 less than or equal to 1. So x by 2 is less than or equal to 1. That means x is less than or equal to 1. So in the previous part we got that x is greater than minus 5, and now we are getting x is less than or equal to 1. So if we combine these two things, we are going to get that x is greater than minus 5 but it is less than or equal to 1. So this is our answer. This is the answer of our question, but we also have to represent it on the number line. So we are going to do that, but first of all please write down the solution and then we are going to do that. Okay, then let me erase the things out here. So let us make the number line minus 5 till 1. So I'm going to start with minus 5 only. If you have space, you can start with minus 6 also because it looks a little cleaner that way. But I don't have much space on my screen. So 0, 1. Okay. So since they have told that x belongs to rational numbers, that means we can consider all the values in between to all the decimals, everything. Okay, so what are we going to do? Since x is less than or equal to 1, that means we have to make a solid circle on 1. But since x is just greater than minus 5, it is not equal to minus 5, so we will make a hollow circle. And then we are going to shade all the values in between. Since we have been said that x belongs to rational numbers. But in case that x belonged to natural number or whole number or integer, we had to specify the points too. We could not shade all of it. We had to specify it. So this is the answer. This is the solution set on the number line as well as in the form of an expression. So I hope this question is clear to you. Alright, now let's move on to the next question. We have to draw a histogram for the given data using a graph paper, and then we have to estimate the mode from the graph. Okay, let's do it. So I hope I'll be able to explain it to you using this makeshift graph which I have on my screen. I would urge you all to do it in your own graph copy so that the answer is much more accurate. I don't know how much accuracy I'll be able to bring it out on the screen. Okay, whatever be it, let's begin. So since we see that our values are not starting from 0, we have to make a small distortion on the x-axis, and then we have to make our graph accordingly. And since the values of the frequency or the number of people is up to 18, I am going to take divisions of 2 2, that means 2 4 like this. So let's make it. Okay. So there will be a small distortion out here. Please do make it in your graph copy. And don't forget to put the arrows, x-axis and y-axis denotions, and also the denotion for the origin. Now we have from 3000 till 10,000. 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 and 10,000. Okay, my numbers don't even look like numbers, but I hope you can understand. That is 8. Please do consider my handwriting. It's difficult to write so small on this screen. 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 and 20. Okay, so for 3000 to 4000 we have the number of people as 4. So I'm using a different color to show. So 9 is out here. Okay, now from 5000 to 6000 we have it at 18. All right, then 6, then 7 is somewhere out here, and then we have at 2 and then 4. So this is your histogram, although it looks very dirty, but still I hope you can understand. So this is your histogram. You're going to get 2 marks for this, and then you have to estimate the mode and you can bag more 2 marks. So how do we find out the mode? We know one thing. From the bar which is of the longest length, we have to make a line from one end to the other end like this, from one vertex to the vertex where the next bar is crossing the next bar. We are going to make a line like that. Now we are going to make a line from this vertex to this point, because this particular bar is touching the longest bar at that point. So I think you all know about this, but for people who have forgotten it by any chance, please make sure that you are recalling these things. It will be 2 lines lie, and from there we are going to draw a vertical line which will touch the x-axis like this. So the point where this line is touching, and it is not exactly in the middle, so I consider it to be 5400. People can have a little more different values like 5300 or even 5500. Both these answers are correct, but if we want to be exact, 5400 will be our mode. Also, don't forget to write down what does the x-axis denote. In this case, it is the weekly wages. Weekly wages. And the y-axis denotes the number of people. And also make sure that you're writing the scale of the graph, because that also includes 1 marks. So I guess this question is clear to you. So this is how you find out the mode by using a histogram. Alright then, let's move on to the next question. So out here we have a circle in which certain angles have been mentioned. We have been said that we have to find angle ABC, okay, this angle, then angle BAD, BAD, that means this particular angle, and angle ABD, ABD, that means this entire angle. Alright, let's see how do we do it. Very easy question. It is from the chapter circles. You have studied about the tangent properties, about the chord properties, about this and that. We are going to use those properties out here. We know one thing, that whenever an arc or a segment, or you can also consider a chord, it will subtend an angle at the circumference. The angle subtended at the circumference is always twice the angle subtended at the is always half the angle subtended at the center. So that particular property we are going to use in this question of ours. So we see that AC is equal to BD. That means these two chords are equal. So let's begin with our first question itself. So what do we see? Angle AOC is given as 72 degree. And this is the angle which is subtended by the chord AC on the center. Now we know that if on the center it is subtending an angle of 72 degree, on the circumference it will subtend an angle which will be equal to half of 72 degree. So we see that our first question is angle ABC, which is actually the angle which is subtended by the chord AC on the circumference. That means it will be equal to half of the angle AOC. So let us write angle ABC is equal to half of angle AOC. Please write down in the bracket the reason, that the angle subtended by a chord on the circumference is equal to half of the angle subtended on the center. Please don't forget to write down the reason, because it will lead to losing of marks. So half of 72 is 36 degree. So the value of angle ABC is 36 degree. I hope it is clear. Now in the next question, we have been asked to find out the value of angle BAD. So since we know that AC and BD, these chords are equal, that means if the chord AC subtends an angle of 36 on the circumference, similarly the chord BD will subtend the same angle on the circumference. So our angle BAD will also be equal to 36. So how do you write this? Angle BAD is equal to angle ABC is equal to 36 degree. In the bracket you have to write that angle subtended by equal chords on the circumference is equal. So the reasons you have to write properly. You don't have to write it in any hi-fi English. You can use simple words and explain to the examiner why you have chosen this particular answer. So I guess it is clear to you. So now our third question is, we have to find the value of angle ABD. ABD. Alright. So let me just rub the things which I have mentioned here. And let's just consider triangle ABD in this case. It will become easy to point out the angles now. So angle BAD was 36 degree. And what will be the value of this angle D? We know that AB is the diameter. It has been given in the question. And we know that a diameter will subtend an angle of 90 degree, right, on the circumference. So angle D is 90 degree. So now if you consider the triangle ABD, you have one of the angles as 36 degree. The other angle is 90 degree. You can easily find out the value of angle ABD, isn't it? So let us write angle A plus angle D plus angle B is equal to 180 degree. This is the angle sum property of a triangle. So the value of angle A is 36 degree, angle D is 90 degree, and angle B is not given to us. So the value of angle B, or the value of angle ABD, comes up to 54 degree. If you solve it out, you're going to get 54 degree. A very easy question, but the concepts which you have learned in the lower classes, those have to be clear in order to solve these questions. I hope it is clear to you. Now let's move on to another question. We have done this question a few days ago itself, I think yesterday or day before yesterday. No, not yesterday. Yesterday we were doing heights and distances. So I guess we did the same question day before yesterday when we were doing trigonometry. So that's not an issue. Let us do it once again. It will just help you increase your practice. That's all. So LHS is given as sine A by 1 plus cot A. Sine A by 1 plus cot A minus cos A by 1 plus tan A. So we are going to convert cot and tan into sine and cos form. So sine A by 1 plus cot A, that means 1 plus cos A by sine A minus cos A divided by 1 plus sine A by cos A. So this can be written as sine A divided by sine A plus cos A divided by sine A minus cos A divided by cos A plus sine A divided by cos A. So this sine A will go to this sine A and they will get multiplied, and this cos A will also go back to this cos A and they will also get multiplied. So we have sine square A divided by sine A plus cos A minus cos square A divided by cos A plus sine A. So we can bring it under a single fraction bar. So we will have sine A plus cos A, and in the numerator we will have sine square A minus cos square A. So in the numerator we see that it is of the identity a square minus b square form. So we can write it as a plus b into a minus b. That means sine A plus cos A into sine A minus cos A divided by sine A plus cos A. So now we can cancel these two things and we are left with sine A minus cos A, which was the RHS, and hence we have proved it. So I hope it is clear to you. It is basic algebra. You just have to put the value of cot and tan and then you have to solve it like you would solve questions related to x and y. I hope this question is also clear to you guys. Now let's move on to the next question. In what ratio is the line joining P 5, 3 and Q minus 5, 3 divided by the y-axis? Also find the coordinates of the point of intersection. Alright, a very good question. So we have a line. Yeah, I do teach chemistry. I teach all the 3 subjects of science and also maths. If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the email provided in the description box. So this is our line which is made by the points P, that is 5, 3 and Q minus 5, 3. Okay. So what we have been asked that this particular line is divided by the y-axis. So let me consider, okay, let me use a different color for this. So let us consider that this green line is the y-axis and it is cutting the line PQ and making a particular ratio. We don't know the ratio. Let us take the ratio as m is to n. M is to n is the ratio. Now the point of intersection, let me name it as A. What will be the coordinates of this point of intersection? Since the point A lies on the y-axis, we can say that the coordinates of point A is 0, y, because any point on the y-axis will have a coordinate 0, y, isn't it? So the point which is intersecting the line PQ has coordinates 0, y. Now we have to simply use the section formula and then we have to find the answer which has been asked in the question. So let's do it. So I hope the diagram is clear to you. And now we are going to solve the question. So our P is given as 5, 3 and our Q is given as minus 5, 3. So this is x1 and y1, and this is x2 and y2. You can write these small things in your answer sheet also. It will not just help you to reduce your mistakes, but it will also explain to the examiner that yes, this student knows things. This student is making it simple for me to check too. So you are going to get really good marks. And let us consider the ratio to be m is to n. Let the ratio be m is to n. So now we took the point of intersection as a, 0 comma y. So let us write that too. Let the point of intersection of the y-axis with this particular line, like I showed in the diagram, let the point of intersection be a, 0 comma y. So we know according to the section formula, the point of intersection can be found out by using x1 into n plus x2 into m divided by m plus n. That means the first x coordinate into the second part of the ratio plus the second x coordinate into the first part of the ratio divided by the sum total of the ratios. Similarly, for the y coordinate, we will have y1 into n plus y2 into m divided by m plus n. Alright. So now what do we see? That in the coordinates of a, the value of 0 is the value which is known to us. We don't know what is the value of y, but we know that the value of the x coordinate will always be 0. So we are going to use this 0 and we are going to find out our answer. So first of all, let me write the values in the right hand side. x1 into n, that means 5n, plus x2 into m, that means minus 5m, divided by m plus n. Similarly, y1 into n, that means 3 into n plus 3 into m, divided by m plus n. So we are going to compare, we are going to see 0 is equal to the first part of the coordinate, that means the x coordinate. Why do we do it? Because we know the value of 0. It is a known value. We don't know the value of y. We don't know the value of m and n. How can we use so many unknown values? So we have to use one known value and the others can be unknown to us. So 0 will be equal to 5n minus 5m divided by m plus n. Let me erase the things above. Okay. So from here, if you take m into m plus n to that side, cross multiplication, we will get 0 is equal to 5n minus 5m. So from here you can write 5m is equal to 5n. So 5 and 5 gets cancelled out. So m by n is equal to 1, or you can also say that m is to n is equal to 1 is to 1. So the ratio which has been asked in the question is equal to 1 is to 1. That means the y-axis is intersecting the line PQ through the center completely. The point A is the midpoint of P and Q. I hope this is clear till here. Now we are going to find out the coordinates of point y using the same formula. We are just going to compare y with the second part of the equation, with the second part of the coordinates now. Because now we know the value of m and n, we can easily find out the value of y. So I'm just going to erase this part. And let's solve. We have y is equal to 3n plus 3m divided by m plus n. We had this. So in place of m and n, I'll just put 1 because the value of m is to n was 1 is to 1. So 3 into 1 is 3 plus 3 into 1 is 3 divided by m plus n, that means 1 plus 1. We can directly write it as 2. That means we will get 6 by 2, that is equal to 3. So our y coordinate is 3. So what is the coordinates of the point of intersection? It will be 0, 3. It was 0, y, so 0, 3 is the answer. So I hope this question is also clear to you. Alright, then let's move on to the next question. A solid spherical ball of radius 6 cm is melted and recast into 64 identical spherical marbles. Find the radius of each marble. Alright, so there is a particular formula which I generally use, although it will not be given directly in the book as such, But whenever you have to find the number of something, be it number of tiles, number of boxes, number of this and that, we are always going to divide the larger dimension or the larger object by the smaller object or by the smaller dimensions. So in this case, the number of marbles have been given. So there is a large spherical ball which has been melted, and we are given 64 spherical marbles. So we know the number of spherical marbles which is formed. We know what is the larger structure. The larger structure is actually the solid spherical ball which was melted, and the smaller structure are those marbles. So we can use this formula to find out our answer. So let's see how do we do it. So first of all, for the solid sphere, so for the sphere, the radius is given. I am taking the radius as capital R, 6 centimeter. So what will be the volume of the sphere? Volume will be equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube. The volume of a sphere is 4 by 3 pi r cube. So I'm not going to solve it. I'm just going to keep it in the form of a multiplication. So 4 by 3 pi r cube means 6 cube. Okay. Now for the marbles. For the marbles, we don't know the value of radius. So let the radius be smaller. So let the radius be smaller. So our volume, in this case I am taking the volume as small v. So v is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube again, because this is also a sphere. So 4 by 3 pi into small r cube. We are going to keep it like this only. No need to write. Yeah. Now we know that the number of marbles, like I told you, is equal to the larger structure. That means the sphere, volume of the sphere divided by volume of the marbles. Volume of marbles, because that is the smaller structure, larger one divided by the smaller one, volume of the sphere divided by the volume of the marbles. So the number of marbles was 64. The volume of the sphere is 4 by 3 pi into 6 cube, and the volume of the marble is 4 by 3 pi into small r cube. This thing gets cancelled out, 4 by 3 pi. So we have r cube is equal to 6 cube by 64. So 64 can be written as 4 cube. So from here we can directly write that r is equal to 6 by 4. If you solve it, you will get 1.5 centimeter. So the radius of the small marbles is 1.5 centimeter. Such a easy question which can easily yield you 3 marks. So I hope this question is also clear to you. A very easy and simple question. Okay, next is the question from the chapter probability. This is also a very easy question, but before we begin with the question, I can say that we have to consider the first 9 letters of the English alphabet, for last 9 letters of the English alphabet. So I'm going to write the 26 letters of the English alphabet so that later on we can utilize it. Okay. Now we have, there are identical circular discs which contain the word, which contains the letter of the word authorizes. Alright, so this is our sample space. So let me write the sample space is, sample space means the values which are as a whole, in total, whatever we have with us, that will be the sample space. So the sample space will be A, U, all the letters separately we are going to write. Authorizes, R-I-Z-E-S. So this is our sample space. What is the number of elements in the sample space? N of S is 10. Okay. N of S is 10. N of S means the number of elements in the sample space. Now our first question is, we have to find the probability that the letter which we are going to choose from this these circular discs will be a vowel. So what are the vowels which we have in our sample space? A, U, O, I, E. don't consider all the vowels or all the consonants. We have to consider only those which are present in our sample space. All right. So let us take this set as A. A means all the vowels in the letters in the word authorizes. So what are the vowels we have? A, U, O, I and E. All the vowels which we generally have in our alphabetical series. So what is the number of elements in A? N of S is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the probability of getting A, that means the probability of getting a vowel will be 5 divided by 10. N of S, N of A, this will be N of A. N of A divided by N of S, that means half. 5 by 10, that is half. The second question is one of the first 9 letters of the English alphabet which appears in the given word. So the first 9 letters of the English alphabet is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I till I. And out of these 9 letters, which of them are present in the sample space? We have to find that out first. So our B is that particular set. So out of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, let us see what are the letters which we have in our sample space. We have A, we have H, we have E out here. Okay, is it all, or do we have something else too? Yes, we have I too. Yeah, A, H, E, I. That means N of B is 4. There are 4 elements in the set. So our probability, our required probability will be N of B divided by N of S is equal to 4 by 10. That means 2 by 5. So this is the answer. Whenever you're finding the probability, the denominator will have all the elements, the number of elements present in the sample space. The sum total of things which you have with you, that will be your denominator. And in the numerator, we are going to write the required thing which has been asked in the question. Now let's move on to the third question. One of the last 9 letters of the English alphabet which appears in the given word. Let me rub the things above. Okay. So now we have to consider the last 9 letters. So what are the last 9 letters? X, Y, Z, U, V, W and R, S, T. So out of these 9 letters which are present in our sample space, let us see. So let me take this set as C. So we have T, yes. We have Z. Is that all? We also have S. Okay. We have A, U. We have U, T. Okay, R. Hmm. So these are the letters which are present in the last 9 letters of our English alphabet and which is also present in our sample space. So N of C is 5. So probability of getting C is 5 by 10. The required one divided by the total one we are going to get as half. So although this question was from probability, it was not a very direct question. You had to work a little hard in order to do this. So I hope this question is also clear to you. This is the last question of our session today. It is a question related to GST and it is a very easy question because you don't have to consider SGST, CGST, IGST, nothing. It is just GST given to us. So let us do it. Come on. So Mr. Bedi visits the market and buys the following articles. He bought medicines costing rupees 950 and the GST on it was 5%. He also bought a pair of shoes costing rupees 3000 and his GST was 18%. He bought a laptop bag costing of rupees 1000 with a discount of 30% on it and a GST of 18%. You have to calculate the total amount of GST paid by him. So come on, let us make a table based on this so that we can do it very effectively and quickly too. So he bought medicines, he bought shoes, and he bought a laptop bag